and welcome to the Glassbreaker Summit 2020. I have been so looking forward to this moment for a while, ever since this very talented, multi-talented professional athlete agreed to sit down with me and have this conversation. Her name is Gazmine Mason. And before we start talking to Jasmine, I just want to read off her very, very impressive bio. Gazmine Mason, who is known among her thousands of fans and followers as Gg, but we're going to get to that more in a moment. Jasmine Gg is a former University of Nebraska-Lincoln bowling standout who graduated with a degree in business administration and a minor in informatics. Upon graduation, Gg set out to generate more respect and visibility for the sport of bowling, and she has done just that. She is a three-time Olympic gold medalist and a member of the Adult Team USA, the holder of 2 regional titles from the Professional Women's Bowling Association, and the 2015 NCAA National Bowling Champion. She has made 4 consecutive NCAA championship appearances. Wow. In 2017, Gg founded Black Girls Can Bowl Too, and in 2018, she founded Got Game LLC. Gg has appeared on numerous programs and platforms, including the Gilbert Arenas, the No Chill podcast, LeBron James's, the Unguarded podcast by Uninterrupted, and the Karen Hunter Show. Gazmine Mason is the first African American to win singles in all event gold medals for Team USA in the sport of bowling, and currently holds the world record of 4,100 pins knocked down. She is a true glass breaker. Welcome, Miss Gazmine Gg Mason. Thank you so much for joining us on this summit. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Super excited.
Of course. And I'm loving the shirt, loving the image on the shirt. You are definitely representing your brand very well. So I obviously started out by reading your bio, but for folks who don't know you, who is Gazmine Gg Mason?
Yeah, so Jasmine Gg Mason, I'm just a person who's just an advocate for the sport of bowling. Well, not just, but I'm an advocate for the sport of bowling, to just get more awareness about it, so we have equal opportunities as a traditional sports, and not just an advocate for bowling, but all, non-traditional sports who don't get the recognition I feel like we deserve. I'm someone who empowers and does my best to empower and inspire women, to inspire Black women, to get more minorities to participate in the sport of bowling. And overall, just try to inspire people with my story. And I would just say Jasmine is definitely a charismatic individual.
And I definitely see that, and I'm sure folks watching will see that as well. So, I love to bowl. I'm not very good at it, but I love it. I only do it obviously as leisure, hobby. When did you first realize bowling was a professional sport and that you were actually really, really good at it?
Yeah, so I started bowling at the age of 10, but it wasn't probably until maybe 12, 13, around there maybe, where I realized, I wasn't that good and I needed to get better. And if I was going to have a chance to get college scholarships, college scholarship opportunities, and so even before college, I would see it on TV. I'm like, okay, it's, this professional bowling, it's something that I definitely would want to do after my college career. And definitely during my college career, it was a little bit shaky, but I took a year off when I graduated to really prepare myself to go out there and compete full time. And as an amateur, when I did graduate college in 2017, I participated in a tournament, a pro tournament, but as an amateur, and I was like, yeah, definitely not ready for this. So I was like, I have some work to do. So yeah, I guess it wasn't really until maybe in my teens or in high school where I was just like, okay, I need to get better to get possible college scholarship opportunities and then become, pro.
Mm-hmm. And what made you start Black Girls Can Bowl Too? What was the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, so when I aged out of Junior Team USA, I was participating or competing to try to have a chance on a spot for the adult team. And so, when I aged out, it took me, I think, 3 or 4 years which is 2020, I finally made the adult team. But just during that time when I wasn't making the adult team USA, I wasn't envious to anyone who made it, and I congratulated everyone. But when I looked, there was no one up there who looked like me. And when I was on junior team, there was just 1 year, it was just me by myself, the only Black girl on the team for the adults or the youth team. And then there was 1 year where there was 2 of us, me including someone. But throughout that time, I was just like, I guess I really made it out of frustration. I'm just like, there's no one up there who looks like me. There are Black women who bowl, and I just don't like the representation. I didn't want people to just see that and be like, oh, okay, well, I guess there's no other minority or race or anything like that who bowls. And so I really made it out of just pure frustration. And I told my dad, I'm like, Black girls can bowl too. Or he was just like, what are you going to do about it? And then I said that. And then, I don't know, it kind of just stuck. And I just created the group on social media platforms. And I went to NCAA, and I looked at all of the colleges who participate, in collegiate bowling, and I went to all the rosters, and I just added people. It kind of started as just a group where I just added Black women and minorities, but I'm like, I don't want it to just be like that. I want it to be more inclusive. I want people to be able to follow us and learn each other's stories. So then that's when I branched off to just, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And it's really a platform to empower each other and share each other's success stories, because as Black women in America, I mean, that's just a thing in its own. It's, it's not the easiest thing. So just being Black and then being a Black woman in America, I really just wanted to empower and uplift each other and share each other's success stories, because in college, the most I would do when I would see other girls, I would just say hi. I never really engaged in a conversation, and I don't want it to be like that for others. So now I get pictures of like group pictures or people from different teams, like, oh, guess who I met? And it's just a beautiful sight to see. So yeah.
No, that's great. And you mentioned getting started out of frustration, and it reminds me of what we're seeing right now all around the world, these marches and demonstrations, people who are drawn to these marches and demonstrations out of frustration, out of anger. What has been the role you played in that, and how are you feeling about everything that's going on? Many of the folks who are marching and demonstrating are within your generation. So what's your thought about everything that's going on?
Yeah, it's definitely overwhelming. I know throughout this past couple weeks I've cried like multiple times. It's just a lot to take in all at once. And I'm not physically out there on the front lines. There have been some protests here in Rhode Island. I haven't been out, but I've been protesting in my own way. I just wrote some thoughts down in my notes, and I wanted to see how it felt to say it out loud. And I shared that, a vulnerable moment for me, but I shared that to the world. And also too, the bowling community really hasn't spoke too much about it. And someone had messaged me on Twitter, a Black man, saying, like, I'm a Black man and I bowl and I have my memberships. And it just saddens me, and it kind of frustrates me that, the companies in all different aspects of the bowling world haven't done much. And I asked him, like, hey, can I share this message and just, cross your name out? And he said, yeah. So I shared it, then started getting some feedback like, hey, we've donated to this charity, or we're doing some things here. And the men's organization, they just recently had a tournament, and someone was just like, hey, we're going to donate money. We're going to do like $2 per strike. Some of the players are going to donate, and we want you to pick the charity to donate to, social justice charity. And so that's what I've been doing, and just really, doing my best to continue to educate myself and try to educate others and share different things that I feel like, people need to see. So that's ways that I've been trying to, I guess just go along really with the movement. And just, it's a tough time.
It is, and I did see your Facebook post. You describe it as a moment of being very vulnerable and open, and it was so moving. What was it? You got very emotional when you talked about your parents, when your parents leave the house every day and you worried whether or not they would make it home. What was it about that moment that brought so much emotion to you?
Yeah, I mean, my parents, or those who know, my parents are my best friends. We're like always together, at least most of the time. We have dancing videos, like we do just so much together, and they're my best friends. I'm the only child, so that probably has something to do with it. But just knowing that because of the color of their skin, that they can leave the house and potentially not make it back, is, including myself, it's just very scary. And for any child to lose a parent or vice versa, no one wants to go through that. So I pray every day that when my parents leave, that they make it to their final destination, which is home safely. And I didn't know that I was gonna like cry when I started speaking about them, but yeah, they're very, very important to me. So
Have they seen it?
they have. And my mom, I actually was just like, Mom, can you watch this? And I was on FaceTime with her, so I was like listening and watching her watch the video, and she just started like crying. And then I called my dad, like, hey Dad, can you watch this video? And he watched it and called me back. I was like, yeah. He was at work. He's like, I started tearing up. I had to go to the bathroom so nobody would see me. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a proud moment for them, and for others who have watched the video and who felt that heartfelt emotion coming from you. What do you what's going to come? What do you think will come of this? We talk a lot about the millennials being the most impacted, but clearly there are so many generations coming together and on the front lines and marching and demonstrating. How do you think this moment in time will impact your generation moving forward?
Yeah, I think even now I see some changes, thing like or laws being created, like the Breonna Taylor law, the no breaking into apartments or homes, and I see a lot of people stepping down, and I just see a lot of people. I just see a lot of things going on all over. So I do feel like action is actually being taken, and we're not just, I guess, doing this for no reason. Like I do see some results right now, although I do think we have a long ways to go just to be able to see results happening while we're doing what we're doing. I feel like it's very I feel like it helps me have more hope or be more hopeful, just like, hey, like things are definitely going to change. And although I wasn't around during the other eras, or to really experience things that happened then, but just to learn about them, and have people now saying, yeah, this is different this time, it makes me even more hopeful, like, yeah, we're definitely going to continue to create some change.
Hmm. So switching gears, I want to talk about your personal brand, and I can see the branding obviously on your shirt. So I often talk about the connection between one's personal brand and their ability to reach their professional goals, to break through the glass ceiling. What role has your personal brand played in your ability to break through and start achieving your very, very impressive goals?
Like it wasn't really until I won, the gold medals, being the first African American to do so, and then my dad asked my the head coach of Team USA, like, he actually brought it to our attention, like, Gigi is the first to ever do this. And my dad's like, oh, like seriously? We did some fact checking, and head coach was correct. And it wasn't until then that things, we put a video out to try to help with some exposure and sponsorships for the tour. Some people saw it, but it wasn't really till then that we put a video together. And then I started, being able to go to these different, be on these different platforms and stuff like that. And then I don't know, I just feel like the gold medals and stuff that led up to that has allowed me to be a part of these different opportunities. And then, just continuing on with my bowling career and being able to do some of the things I have now, like the 2 PWBA regional titles and stuff like that.
How do you make sure that you are aware and on top of when it's time to either lean into a brand you have or start to really think about changing it, rebooting it, or refreshing it?
because you saw my website. It was before, like when I first created it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then, got some feedback where it's like, it could be better, or this is like where you are, not the direction you want to, or where you want to be. And then, taking that into consideration, I like revamped my website, and then time had gone by and I'm like, oh, I could be better than revamping it again. So just, I don't know. I feel like it's just a feeling. I'm just like, okay, this can be better, or this can be better, or this is not working like I wanted it to. Maybe I need to go into a different direction, or reach out to people and get some input and help on how to, like, I guess, make my brand evolve. Mm-hmm. I hope I answered that question.
You did. Okay. You did. And actually, it's a great segue into a quick break we are going to take right now, where I'm going to show you a sneak peek inside a new online program that will help professionals advance in their career. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back to you in 30 seconds for more of our conversation with Jasmine Gg Mason. For now, you are watching Glassbreaker Summit 2020. Projecting a defined personal brand may mean the difference between an unfulfilling job and a rewarding career. Can your current brand help you reach and break through the glass ceiling? Mainstream to Top Tier is an online career development program that can help you find out. Refresh or reboot. Visit mainstreamtotoptier.com to learn more. Welcome back. We are here talking with Jasmine Gg Mason, a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, professional bowling athlete. And so welcome back, Gg. Thanks again for being here. Let's continue the conversation about your life and your achievements and your brand. So let me ask you, how does it feel to be a glass breaker?
Honestly, it feels amazing, and I would just say more so like when the first to win the gold medals, like when it first happened, I didn't really know the significance of it. My dad's like, you don't know what you just did. And I think part of it too, it's because it's the sport that I play, where it's just like, okay, like she won a gold medal. But if it's like, a sport or traditional sport you see on TV, like NBA players winning gold medals, or gymnastics, Simone Biles or Gabby Douglas winning gold medals, it's like a big deal. But because it's bowling, it's people don't, I guess, care. It's, I felt like I kind of didn't care as much as I should, and that really shouldn't be the case. And that's the narrative I'm really trying to shift, help promoting my sport, so people know there's a separation between recreational bowling and doing it as a sport. And it wasn't really until I had some of the black female bowlers reaching out to me like, you don't know how much you inspired me, you winning gold medals, like I want to be a part of Junior Team USA, or, you inspired me to not quit and to keep going. And I think that was what makes me, feel like, okay, yeah, this is very important, more so than just being the first to do it.
Yeah, no, that's great. What's next for you?
So right now I'm still working towards getting my story out there, sharing my story. I'm working towards getting some sponsorships for the tour, sponsorships or endorsement deals, like really as being treated like a professional athlete. But it's not really the money, it's more so the opportunities. I compete in a sport where we don't have the opportunities as NBA or NFL, and that's something that I'm working towards changing and creating opportunities, not just for myself, but for all the bowling athletes out here now, and then the future generations to come. So doing that, inspirational speaking, going out, sharing my story that way to inspire people, as well as right now, the centers here are still closed, and my season this year would have been my second season. It's been canceled due to COVID-19, so I'm just, during this downtime, just trying to stay physically active, mentally, keep the mental aspect just going, not trying to have an idle mind. And yeah, really, I guess that's really most of the things that I'm doing at this moment, but just still really working towards sharing my story to hopefully at least opportunities.
Where is the sport of bowling going? Do you foresee or envision a time when bowling will be maybe not equivalent to professional basketball or football, but do you see a time when more and more people are tuning into it and watching it on TV and rallying around the sport? Do you see that come? I mean, more than what are doing now, that's happening now. Clearly you have a fan base, your followers. It's a professional sport, is recognized by the Olympic Committee. Where do you see the sport of bowling being in, let's say, 5 years?
Yeah, I'm very hopeful. We'll get more people tuning in who may have, pushed bowling off and may have never really thought of it as anything more than a recreational activity. And I feel that way because I feel like I'm the person who's going to help that come to life. I feel like, I don't know if it'll be in 5 years, but I feel, bowling will be back into the Olympics that you see every 4 years. I'm very hopeful, and I do feel like the sport is headed in the right direction. I feel like we really need outside sources to help us. It can't just be within the bowling community. We need outside resources in order for us to help elevate us and help us grow. But it's going to happen.
Absolutely. I have no doubt with you leading the charge that it will. Let's talk about Gigi, the name Gigi. I hope I'm not going to get this wrong. A coach gave that name to you, a nickname to you, Gigi, for Got Game. And then you eventually founded your LLC, Got Game. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, in Rhode Island, we don't have high school bowling. We just have leagues. Other states, they have high school bowling. So what I had to do is I had to kind of not just do leagues, but I had to bowl tournaments in other states to help get some exposure. And in our league, my coach, Coach Marty Jones and Coach Monica Scott, they founded, it's called Providence Senate, my youth league. How I all started to getting into bowling, and they created that to help get the inner city kids off the street. Just get them doing something that's positive. And so there was a period of time where he always gave people nicknames, but you had to earn it. And he didn't just give anyone a nickname, but you really had to earn it. You had to, be a great or a good player, be doing things well inside the sport and outside. And I've always asked him, when am I going to get a nickname? When am I going to get a nickname? And that's one of my goals I've always worked towards. And, one day he was just like, I thought of one for you. And I was like, oh, what is it? I was so excited. And he was like, Gigi. And I was like, I like that. And then I was like, does it stand for anything? He was like, it stands for Got Game. And I was just like, you know what? You did something there. And, ever since he started calling me Gigi, it just stuck. And then, started to think about creating my company. And I'm just like, oh, what could the name be? And I'm like, Got Game. So it's like me and my company, Brand, they're just all, in all one. So, yeah, that's how the story came about.
Yeah, and tell us about Got Game.
Yeah, so Got Game, the mission, probably said it before, but it's really to help elevate and promote the sport of bowling so that we have the equal opportunities as the traditional sports. Got Game has products and services. Here's one of them. It's because when I wear my hair, when I'm competing, I wear it in 2 Afro puffs, my natural hair. And yeah, so we have merchandise and also inspirational speaking. I've gone to a couple colleges, Norfolk State University, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, LeBron James's I Promise School, and been able to share my story with the women's bowling team and then the kids. And it's not really to tell people, become a professional bowler, but it's just to let them know that, that you can get college scholarships. You can do it at one of the highest levels, being a professional. There's a lot of opportunities that come from the sport of bowling, and just really educating people on it, because people are like, oh, I didn't know you can, my kid can go to college for free on a bowling scholarship. And I'm like, yes, but people just aren't aware. So myself and Got Game are, doing our best to let people know and educate them and just help to promote the sport of bowling in that way.
Wow, you have definitely got your hands full. Got got game, got your hands full. For sure. It is so wonderful to see you doing so much and to be an inspiration for so many people, not just people in your generation, but people in my generation and in other generations, and especially during a time when we need more young leaders. And we're seeing more young leaders out there, and you're definitely one of them. So I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your time here on the Glass Breakers Summit.
Thank you so much. I truly do appreciate you.
And I appreciate you as well. So please join me, everyone, tomorrow live on my Facebook group, Glass Breakers. We're going to break down the conversation we just had with Jasmine Gg Mason. I want you to also send me your questions. So I hope to see you live at 8 p.m. tomorrow on my Glass Breakers Facebook group. And then I look forward to bringing you another one-on-one conversation with yet another glass breaker. So until then, be safe, be well, and thanks for being here.